What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to live off of stocks in the stock market, how you can do it as fast as you can, and how much money might you need in order to do this. So in order to live off of stocks completely passively in the market, the best option, in my personal opinion, is through dividends. And dividends is what companies pay you for owning the stock. So for example, you might own $100 in a stock, and they could pay you like $5 a year literally just for holding that stock. So let's go ahead and talk about how to live off of dividends. First off is you're going to want to aim for higher yielding stocks in ETFs. So usually a stock with a higher yield means it's going to have lower growth, but it can instantaneously collect more dividend income. So if you're looking to live off of dividends right now, you might want to be investing in higher yield dividend stocks. And you don't want to go find the highest dividend yield and buy it because you want to make sure that your investments can sustain the dividend payments that they currently have. Next up is you want to sell options on your stocks. You want to sell cash secured puts and covered calls. I have made a video on how to do that. I will put a card up to doing that so you can learn how exactly to sell those stuff, but it is a great way to make extra income. And what you do is with the premiums you collect doing that, you reinvest all that money. And third, you want to reinvest your dividends. Okay, you want to make sure that if you're getting paid $10 in dividends on a single day, that $10 is going right back into the market so that you can grow and grow your dividends as soon as possible. You want to keep growing them until you have enough dividend income to supply your life needs. Next up is you want to cut unnecessary expenses and find a way to make some extra income. So if you have subscriptions or things that you don't need to spend your money on that you just find yourself doing, stop doing it and use that money to invest and then make extra income. Maybe find a side hustle, anything like that. So here's another thing, is fastest way to live off of dividends. Only select a few stocks or ETFs. You don't want to be invested in like 100 different ETFs because that's just probably not the best thing. And you're probably not maximizing your obvious potential. And you want to make sure they have high dividend yields, which is kind of obvious, and a good future outlook that can supply good future returns. Don't fall into the yield trap, like I said. Make sure that the stocks are consistently paying dividends. So you don't want to see them pay this quarter and then they just skip a dividend and then they pay the next. They need to be consistently paying because historical performance is very important when it comes to dividend investing. And preferably, you want to see them increasing their dividend payments, how much they pay in dividends per share every single year. They usually increase these once per year, so make sure that they've been increasing them for a little bit. And fourth, be consistent and add money to your portfolio as often as possible. And what I mean by that is if you are set on adding $1,000 a month into your portfolio, add $1,000 a month into your portfolio. You need to make sure that you can be consistent and add that money. You know, you might have another gig going on. Like you might be like, oh, I want to go buy an NFT or something like that. Don't take it out of your $1,000. Please do your best to find that money out of somewhere else because you want to be consistent in adding money to your portfolio. And fifth is find an extra stream of income. And that could be a side hustle, maybe go get a part-time job, you do Uber driving, whatever it might be, find an extra stream of income because it helps you boost your portfolio and get it there faster. Now here's a list of some really high yielding stocks and ETFs that I think are pretty solid. I am invested in XYLD, QYLD, JEPI, MO, and O. NUSI and RYLD are both covered call ETFs with a lot of upside potential. I'm a big fan of XYLD. So let's go ahead and talk about XYLD just for a second. I'm going to show you what XYLD is. So it is the Global X S&P 500 covered call ETF. And it's done pretty well. You know, it kind of almost mirrors the S&P 500 to a certain extent. And it was up almost 9% this entire year. And then in the current economy that we're in, with this market crash kind of thing going on, the ETF has performed from $50 down to $47 right now. And it's fallen. And this is a potential opportunity to buy that dip. So looking on some more stuff, they have a dividend yield of 9.58%. And they pay these dividends on a monthly basis. So if you're looking to get high dividend income right now, XYLD is one of my favorite choices. Now, what I do want to show you is let's go ahead and go back right here and talk about some calculations on how much money you might need. So let's go ahead and we're going to use the example using XYLD, a dividend yield of 9.58%, an expense ratio of 0.6%. Now I say a net yield. I just did dividend yield minus expense ratio. You're still going to be getting a 9.58% dividend yield, but just because of the expense ratio and it being an ETF, I just want to conclude it as a net yield just to give you kind of a more conservative estimate and be as real as I possibly can. So let's go ahead and assume expenses. Let's say you live off $24,000 a year, which is $2,000 a month. Okay, maybe you're single and you can do that. Maybe you have a family and you can do that. But we're gonna go all over the place and do a bunch of different expenses estimates. In order to get that with this yield, you would need $267,000, 260.58. That's a good amount of money, but it's definitely doable if you stay consistent and you find ways to reach that income goal. And you would, after you have your portfolio built up to that much and you have a yield of roughly 9%, that is going to pay for your lifestyle. You could literally sit back, do whatever you want, and as long as you're spending no more than $24,000 a year and your dividends are still coming in, you will be chilling and you will be living off of complete passive income. Now, I will show you how to calculate these numbers in a little bit later in the video. Let's go ahead and you say you need to live off of $38,000 a year, $38,266 to be exact. You need $426,124.73. Now, $60,000 a year, this is probably going to be the most common one, maybe $90,000, is going to be $668,151.45. For $90,000 a year, you will need $1,002,227.17. Now, I went all over the place and I was like, I'm a big believer in aiming high, missing high. So let's go ahead and say you wanted to assume expenses of $25,000 a month or $300,000 a year. In order to get that with this yield, you would need a portfolio size of $3,340,757.24, which is doable if you stay consistent, you put your mind to it, and you find ways to get that money. Do not beat yourself down and be like, that number's too big. Aim high, miss high. I think that those who maybe want to build a portfolio of, let's just simple math, $10,000, well, I think you should aim for 20,000, because maybe you aim for 20,000 and maybe you don't hit 20,000, but you aimed so high and you worked so hard that you hit 15,000. You're 5,000 above that 10,000 you actually wanted. And maybe if you only aim for 10,000 and you didn't kind of discipline yourself enough, maybe you only hit 8,000. So I'm really a strong believer in aiming high, missing high. Next up is, how do you calculate dividend income? Because maybe your estimated annual income and expenses was not on that list. Here's how you do it. You take the annual income and you divide it by the yield as a percentage. So let me show that as an example. Let's say you had annual income desires of $100,000 a year. You take $100,000 and let's say at a 5% yield, you divide that by 0.05. That equals out to $2 million. It's very simple to do. Go test it out. Literally, you can do this off the calculator on your phone. It's really easy to do. Go set some goals. Go kill it out there. But everybody, that's going to be it for this video. So if you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Check out my investing course if you're new to investing. It's on sale. Link is in the description or the comments down below. Use M1 Finance if you have not already, using the link in the description or the comments down below. If you sign up and deposit $100, you'll get a free $50. It's incredible. The promotions are going on right now. Thank you for making it all the way to the end of this video, and I will see you at the next one.